So, for your actions and options and interactions with the world at large, you have the Tree of Life. This is one of my favorite cards across all of my decks. This card represents divine intervention and divine assistance. And so what this means to me is this year your actions are divinely inspired and guided, and providing you can be open to whatever the universe is kind of asking from you, you're really being kind of supported here in that universal sort of way. This is a year for you to really look out for those synchronicities. Like when you start off in a particular direction, pay attention to the signs, the symbols, and the synchronicities that show up for you, because the universe is absolutely guiding you every step of the way this year. It may also be as well, so sometimes we have the divine, the divine delay, or sometimes we have the divine detour, right? Which is where you thought you were going one way, life gets in the way, and you end up going in a different direction. Be open to that as well, right? Sometimes the universe gives an answer and that answer is no. It doesn't, and sometimes that thing that you thought you wanted, or it has to happen this way, by happening another way, you actually get something way better than you had. So be open to it, right? Divine intervention, that's going to be the delay or the detour. Divine assistance, that's going to be the guidance and the synchronicities and the pop, like the little nudges on the shoulder to say, like, yeah, you're going the right way, you're doing this the right way. Showing up for you. So the first one that we're going to look at is on the 8th of May, you have your annual new moon. So you'll be glad to know this one is not an eclipse. We're done with your cycle, right? For now. Now, this new moon for you is at 18 degrees. So the new moon it's actually a really gorgeous one. It's earthy, it's powerful. There's a lovely lineup of energy in your sign at this time, actually, that really allows you to see things I think allows you to see things clearly, because the ruler of this new moon, your ruler, Venus, is actually in your sign at this moment as part of a stellium with both Uranus and Jupiter. So you've got both the benefic planets in your sign at this time, which is actually really nice. It is very close to Uranus, which means it's close enough to be considered a conjunction, right? So it's a 4-degree orb, basically, which means that it's going to be a new moon that really shakes things up, and where you yourself might feel like shaking things up, right? So that's one of the reasons. Good. So for your so you get one destiny card, one direction card per month. You guys know how this goes by now, but if you are new, you'll get 2 cards per month. But remember, your first card out, and also all of the astrological transits that I talk about, remember that you've got your astrological cheat sheet that will go into so much more detail than I can here, just to save having like a really long video. All right, so your first card out, even though it's for January, it kind of typifies the whole year that you're about to have. So let's see what comes up for you. And for this, you have the Hanged Man, right? So this can be a year that is going to be slow, steady. It's going to be a year that potentially could also be very spiritual. The other thing with the Hanged Man, this is about reassessment and reevaluation. So this year, there are potentially, the thing with the Hanged Man, we do need to talk about, a spade is a spade after all. It can be a year of, it can be a card of delays. And so when this card shows up, I often say to my clients, reassess, reevaluate where you're actually at the moment and how you can proceed from where you are. Where is it that you're actually going, and what toolkit do you have, and what maybe needs to be replaced at this time? Okay, now the other thing with the Hanged Man, like I said, it is a very spiritual card because it represents surrender. It represents allowing the current to take you where it wants to take you. This is not a year for you to fight against it. Like this year, don't be a salmon, all right? Now, does that mean you can't have a happy, healthy, productive year and you should throw the rest of everything that we're going to talk about in the trash? No, of course not, right? Now, in terms of January, it is a somewhat slower start to the year for you, but that's because you're getting your bearings, you're getting your wings underneath you, all right? We're not starting the year like we started 2023. None of us are, because there's just not that level of slow energy. There is, however, a Mercury retrograde as we start the year. Finishes on the 2nd, so don't worry, it's not going to affect any of us really that much. This is a time for you to really think about where you want to go, what you have with you, to assess the situation that you currently have and ask yourself, how do I bridge between, how do I create the bridge between where I am right now and what I'm actually trying to achieve? The other thing with the Hanged Man card, like I said, it is a very spiritual energy. So this might actually be a year where you are encouraged to lean more on your spirituality and therefore develop your spirituality that much more. Okay, to clarify on this, you have the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups can be a card of loss, can be a card of mourning. It can also be a card of overindulgence. So I'm going to say to you, as we come into January, this is not the time for it. All right. Whether this is whatever your poison happens to be, whether it's alcohol, drugs, sex, whatever it is, January, avoid. All right. This is not the time for it. This isn't even, like, I would also say, like, even if it's just to go out with friends and stuff, 1 will turn into 3, 3 will turn into 6 or 7, and before you know it, it kind of snowballs. This is not the time for it. Okay. The other thing with the Five of Cups, it can show up where we're starting to feel the process of grief set in, right? And what I mean by that is, if a relationship has come to an end, this might be where your grieving time actually starts. If a friendship has come to an end, this might be where your grieving starts. If for some of you, this could be that you decide, you know what, this is the year I leave this job, and you go through this period of kind of mourning whatever has been, right? Now, the other thing is, on the 21st of January, Pluto is going to go into the sign of Aquarius. That's your 4th house of home, family, property, your 10th house of career, right? Reputation, public reputation. This is a pretty big deal for a lot of you, for all of you actually, because it's going to start to see you really gathering and gaining power, but also recognizing and realizing where you are not in control. If you want to find out how that's going to show up for you more on a personal level, your astrological cheat sheet will give you all the info that you need.